and so I was looking for the next thing to do, and I really knew that I wanted to, do something that was, business related, but also help people. And so I actually was flipping houses for a while, and I had a friend of mine who said, you should consider, starting a halfway house. And I didn't even know what that was. I had no idea what a halfway house was when I first started, and I actually thought it was a place for, like, when people get out of prison. And so I started looking into it. I started getting information on what it was and talking to people, and so we looked for a while. For houses and sort of what we wanted to do and where we wanted to be, and we started to gravitate towards women's housing, and we started to gravitate towards just trying to maybe focus on just that. And so we committed to starting, when I say we, it's my wife and I, we committed to starting women's housing, and then we went and looked at a bunch of existing women's housing, and what we found was there were some really, really high-end ones that were super expensive, and then we found some ones that were maybe in less desirable areas and really low end. And at the end of the day, it wasn't something that I would have felt comfortable. And I couldn't have afforded to put, like, a family member in the expensive one, and then there's no way I would have put a family member in some of the ones I was going and looking at. And so at the same time, my mom was looking for a place to house my sister, to put my sister into a program. And so, just and talking with her a little bit back and forth. And so, we sort of gravitated towards a female program, a women's home. And then we just decided to be right in the middle, like not high end and not low end in bad neighborhoods, but like just right in the middle. And that's what we did. And so we found the house. We started the house. We were running that for a while. We actually had no problems keeping the house full. I mean, if I had an empty bed, it was filled within a couple days, and there was just nothing out there that really met that need for, middle of the road type of housing. And so then what happened with us after, I think we were doing that about a year, and then pretty solid, consistent, consistently full. But we started seeing that the women that were coming and living in our houses, we started to see a couple things. We started to see, number one, they didn't seem like they were getting any better. And number two, every time they were essentially getting ready to go to treatment, it looked like they were getting dressed up to go on a date. And so what we had realized is that in some of these programs, when the guys and the girls are together, that's almost what it is. It's, they're getting dressed up, they're getting, them, and it's almost like they're going out. And so we decided to show a video one weekend at the house, and it was a story of somebody that, it was a story of a lady who had been through some severe trauma. Addiction was a part of the cycle that she was going through. And I remember sitting there, and we were showing, and I wasn't there, but my staff was there. They were showing the video, and they said within like a minute into the video, you had girls just completely walking out. They can't take it. They can't watch this. And so it really caused me to ask the question, well, how could somebody that's been in treatment for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, that are supposedly working on issues and things that they're struggling with, really have a hard time sitting down and watching that type of a video? And so we, without, making everybody else look bad in this, we just said, maybe there's a better way to do this. And so that really birthed the idea to start Desert Rose as a treatment facility. And that's really how it kicked off. We started out as just a women's program. We started out with, just staying in that same space, women only, small, long-term care. And and we started out as a, it was a full-blown Christian women's treatment center, and that's really how we launched, and we kind of cut our teeth going into that. And going from just running a house to running a whole center is a pretty big jump. Admittedly, I have not been in treatment myself. I haven't gone through that process. I definitely had some days where I remember vividly having a conversation driving home because of some of the things we were dealing with the clients, and I remember being very emotional on this ride home and asking the question, really out loud in the car, is like, God, why am I doing this? Like, I could have easily stayed flipping houses, and the most stressful thing that I'm going to deal with on any given day is, a pipe burst or, but we've got these. And so I was just reminded that, there's addiction in my family. There was addiction with my father. There was, my sister. Some of my siblings have struggled with this. And so God just reminded me that it was a lot closer to home than I maybe even realized. And so from that point on, it was just like, okay, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing this. And so, starting out, we hired people that knew what they were doing. Our clinical director's been doing this for 25 years. And, some of the therapists and the people we brought in are just very experienced people. And I think it brings a good balance. It brings a good balance of maybe somebody that's not been in this world and dealt with this struggle, looking at things a certain way, and then having people on the team that have been in this world, and then marrying the two together. And so we started out as the women's program. It started from the house, and it evolved into an actual treatment center. And then over time, it evolved into a second program for men, and which leads us kind of where we're at now.